Okay, let's start. Hello, dear colleagues. We are starting a session number 4 in Management in Circular Economy. My name is Anastasia Patsenko, and I'm the moderator of this session. I want to introduce the head of the session. It's Victoria Prokhorova, head of the Management of Economics and Management of Ukrainian Engineering Pedagogics Academy. Victoria Vladimirovna.
Дякую. Дорогі колеги, шановні учасники, я рада вітати вас на цій конференції. Рада, що ви всі живі та здорові, та ми маємо змогу сьогодні зібратися. Я бажаю всім учасникам успіху в роботі, нових ідей та нових досягнень в науці. Дякую.
Dear colleagues, dear participants, I am glad to welcome to you this conference. I am very glad that everyone is alive and well, and that we will gather together. I wish all participants a success in the work, new ideas, and new discoveries in science. Okay, and our session will be opened by Tiana Mishuradze with a report on the topic Challenges and Barriers in Transition of Circular Economy Business Models. Yes, please.
For arranging such kind of conference on such an important topic as is environment and sustainable development and so on. It's very vital for today's world and our future for all of us. Now I will start my presentation. Can you see my screen? Do you hear my voice?
Yes. Presentation is not so.
Do you see my presentation and hear my voice?
Yeah, we hear you, but no presentation on the screen.
Let me reshare it.
It's better.
It's visible now, right?
Okay.
Okay. So our topic is related to the challenges and barriers in transition to circular economy business models. My co-authors are Anino Parisashvili, Patrick Echbaya, Ketevan Goletiani, and Georgi Levan Kvarishvili. First of all, I want to mention that there is quite a lot definitions of the circular economy. This term is quite new in the scientific world, and there are not a lot of systematic studies related to it. We have discussed about this and reviewed a lot of different definitions, and we sum up and we are presenting this to the following one, which we think is the most full definition of the circular economy at this stage. And according to this definition, circular economy is an economic system in which resources input and waste, emission, and energy leakages are minimized by cycling, extending, intensifying, and dematerializing material and energy loops. Then can be achieved through digitalization, servitization, sharing solutions, long-lasting products design, maintenance, repair, reuse, remanufacturing, republishing, and recycling. After this, we have discussed some business models in the circular economy. Actually, it's very important to identify what we have right now, like linear model. First of all, which means that some inputs are transferred into some goods and services, and we are getting as a result some kind of waste. And by transmitting these models in the circular economy, we can achieve minimizing of the resources, and which will be beneficial for all the businesses according to the in context of the expenses, and like for future and healthier world and environment. So actually business models that are cycling, extending, intensifying, and dematerializing material and energy loops to reduce the resource inputs into the and the waste and the emission leakage out of an organizational system. This is related to the circular economy, and we think that this to identify and understanding these models are very important. By this, we can achieve by recycling measures like cycling. We can use extending of product life cycle as much as possible to use resources more intense, and to substitute products by service and software solutions as much as it is possible. We have investigated some business models in the circular economy, and gather them and presented as 5 most important ones, what is accessible now in the scientific materials, and this can be the circular supply chain, recovery and recycling models also, some models which are related to product life extension. Also sharing platforms are very important because this is beneficial from the both sides which are involved in these platforms, and we have in today's world some very good examples of the sharing platforms, and using product as a service also can be very useful for the business world to like transmitting this model. So we have presented here also one table, which shows us that using to the increasing circularity, we can move from linear economy to the circular one. And this what can be done by some strategies. These strategies are first of all useful application of materials, what includes in itself recycling and recover. After it, for the further step, we can extend lifespan of products and its parts. And finally, smarter product use and manufacture, which means to reduce, rethink, and reuse. And by the authors who created this table, it is called 9R strategy, and we considered it as a very useful instrument to analyze and identify what to do in order to achieve circular economy business models. Additionally, we have found out among different reviews that Harvard Business Review also offered some kind of strategies, and they emphasized three of them, which can be very beneficial for the circularity. First of all, it's retain product ownership, which means that instead of selling product, the producer rents or leases it to the buyer in the basic version of the strategy. And after this, as a result, we are getting that the customers have done using a product and the producer is responsible for it. Second can be product life extension. Companies that follow this strategy focus on making things that survive longer, which might open up new markets for an old products. And the third one is design for recycling. This strategy requires companies to adapt their goods and product processes in order to optimize the recoverability of the materials used in the new products. So we can finally achieve recycling and material reuse by value proposition, by value creation and delivery, and value capture. These questions, what is presented on this table, should be analyzed by business quite well, first of all, and they should consider all the details which are under them to answer all these questions in order to plan their own strategy. So we have discussed few strategies here, but of course it does not mean that one of them directly fits any business and it will help to transmit it to the circular economy. So they should identify, may take some parts from one business model and some parts from another one, and so on. The barriers and challenges, what we gathered and reviewed a lot of documentation and a lot of materials, was some combined one and some particular ones. So for the combined ones, we can include internal barriers for the companies, which is a barrier for them in order to transmit to the circular economy. First of all, it can be that companies' policies and strategies are not fit with circularity. Also, they have some financial barriers, some technological barriers, lack of resources, collaborations, product design, and internal stakeholder interests and their attitudes. Actually, awareness about the circularity is quite low in small and medium enterprises especially, and it makes it hard to speed up these processes. Second combined group, which is more related to small and medium enterprises, can be lack of innovation, culture, experience, and skills for the people who are employed in these companies. Also, slow adaptation to rapidly changing market conditions, lack of highly qualified employees, seasonality, especially in agriculture and related industries, low profitability and long period of economic return on investments, and so on. What can be presented separately? It is once again the lack of knowledge and qualified staff. We can to split this and present separately, because this is very important today. Actually, there should be someone who will be initiative person, like who will take this initiative on himself or herself, but of course they need some kind of knowledge regarding it. And we have a very big leakage of it, unfortunately. Also, there is absence of green suppliers regarding to the goods which companies are using in the production process. This changing process from the ordinary products to the green ones, it is related to the difficulties. The next barrier is connected to the this one, and it is like more wide, and is related to the supply chain. Supply chain is limited actually for material alternatives at this stage. Also, we have some social barriers related to consumer behavior and perception, because somehow more or less we can see that people are analyzing this, but it is not like deep knowledge. They wanted and tried to be like more so-called greener and have some sustainable development, but they don't have a deep understanding and like clear view what it is related to. Next can be infrastructure and institutional support from the state institutions, and this limited knowledge and technical know-how to shift from linear to the circular product life cycles. We can consider as the main challenge at this stage for the businesses. And during the analyzing and discussion of this situation and too many information, we considered and identified some kind of recommendations which can help at this stage business, and for future how to move from linear to circular business models, and how to overcome the obstacles which are related to the barriers and challenges which we have presented here. So this is first of all raising awareness, and raising awareness, we mean it from all the sides what can be used, and all the sources and channels for this. Next, education about circular economy from schools, like very basic principles should be started from this moment. After circular economy should be added as a subject in the universities. KPIs should be defined towards the way. I mean, organizations should know what they should achieve, what will be the key performance indicators for this to achieve. Next is encouraging customers to change their behavior. Next is to act as per the circular business model in transition process, like to identify main processes, main like views and some concepts, and act as per it, and use individual approach to the mentioned barriers, because each organization has its own specification, own culture. They have own environments which is quite different, due to the different reasons, but can be culture, nation, geographical condition, and so on. And so individual approach is vital in this process. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer.
Yeah, thank you very much. Are there any questions? Okay, let's continue. And the next topic of the next report is conventions of educational technologies in the imperative of the development of innovation cooperation in the context of circular transformation. And please, may the report is Svetlana Mushnikova. Yes, please.
I'm glad to see you. And I see my note. I see my presentation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks. And our article convergence of education technologies and an imperative for the development of financial cooperation in the cooperation in the context of circular transformation. And now, the world economy and socialism have been accompanied by new crises for the last three years. The consequences of the decrease in equality of life of the population of individual countries and the world community as a whole, and increase in the level of education. Given that energy in all its form ensure economy's growth and prosperity, is a factor and in achievement sustainable development. Issue is a more attentive attitudes of consumers to environment issues change of in regulation. In the current environment is order to achieve a state of sustainable development, managers make major decision must respond quickly and adapt to change in the external environment to solve various management problem. This regular systems, professional growth, and for this, the transition to high equality, new educational technologies that require special knowledges of management theory and practice, and the development of personal qualities. Innovative innovate corporation based on the convergence of education technologies aims to modify the goals, contents, methods from the learning. Despite the about the analysis and and forecasting of energy development until 2040 conducted with the support of the world's largest oil company, ExxonMobil, shows that global energy consumption continues to shoot proportionally towards the countries where population and economic growth outpace the world average index. As a result of the factors, questions arise about the combination of principles of global cooperation, the vision of key imperatives of sustainable development, the search for innovative measure of cooperation in the renewed condition of the cycle's economy based on education. And due to the convergence of education technologies, it's possible to train professionals capable of solving complex management problems in changing economics condition. And scientists and practitioners note that sustainable development in inextricable link to energy consumption. Access to reliable and affordable energy is one of the determining factors in improving living standard. According to the result of the forecast by 2040, with growing demand for energy, the structure of the supply will become more diversified, namely the weight of renewable solar, wind, biological, hydro, and geothermal energy together with carbon-free nuclear energy will grow faster. At the same time, oil, natural gas, and coal will continue to play a significant role in providing reliable and affordable energy needed around the world for the faster development of the world economy. At the same time, the driving force behind sustainable development, one of the significant factors of both the domestic and world economy and is education. The general opinion of scientists is that only through the continuous transfer of education with the questions of knowledge and practice skills in society with the materialization and in technology, forming innovation cooperation. You can develop an economy capable of competence and ensure modern living standards. The need of the world community, the economy in sustainable development in the context of secular transformation of individual country bring to the forefront on deepening innovation cooperation. Converge is a process of converge and different science. Compromise stabilization of educational technologies is a basis for obtaining special competences life. One of the main issues is to determine the level of sustainable development in the context of cycle transformation, taking into account the impact of the level of education and exciting approach to its assessment. Until now, the main indicator of the level of development of any country in the world is GDP, and the welfare of the population GDP per capita. Moreover, the growth of GDP in a country does not always indicate as an increase in the welfare of its population. Recently, scientists recon, rec- rec- recognize that in conditions of uncertainty and change to active the real state of development and progress of any country, and an alternative in the indicator of GDP can be the genuine progress indicator. The indicator of real progress is an integrated indicator, the measurement of which makes it possible to know reasonable and accurately access to the system of environment, economies, and social effectiveness of the country's development. The difficult to use the education index in culture and to indicator of real progress is, in our opinion, or as following. First, obtaining until date for its calculation. Second, selection of methods and techniques for calculating the indicator and adapting it to determine the genuine progress indicator, and compatibility of units of the education index and the indicator of real progress. Therefore, we can consider it necessary for fund investigation of the issue raised, and a general simplified model for determine the genuine progress indication can be represent it form. Each component of model is an integrated assessment and takes in the account a large number of factors. Taking into account some factors in the calculator of the genuine progress indicator, it's possible to present the components of the indicator in the form of models. Given the change presented by formulas 2 to 7, we can present a simple model of the genuine progress indication. Some reason the factor in influence each component and the level of education index. Based off the above model 18 and using statistical data, we present the dynamics of change in the competence of the genuine progress indicator in Ukraine, taking into account the education index for 2020. Despite the gradual increase in the education level index of Ukraine, which indicates a fairly high achievement in the field of education, there is a macroeconomic imbalance between the education system and its economic performance. Therefore, one of the priorities of society is to reform the education system in order to improve its quality, economic efficiently, synergy, fair and equal access to knowledge, harmonization with world-best practices through the convergence of education's technology. The basis of convergence of education technologies is the convergence and combination of traditional and innovative technologies. The main task of human-centered orientation of educational technologies is to rule the qualities of personally truth, personally oriented learning. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for your attention.
Are there any questions? I want to tell that if any participants of the conference, yes, we have one questions. Yes, I read. Dear Mrs.
I would
Mushnikova,
like to ask.
yes, can you explain
Can I?
different? Yeah, I see. Do you see the question? Can you explain the difference between GPI and Real Progress Index?
GPI?
Yes, difference between
Yes.
GPI and Real Progress Index.
ВВП. GPI, it's ВВП.
Oh, GPD.
GDP.
GDP. Yeah, you can open the chart if you can suppose to it. And
Can you explain the difference between and Real Progress Index? I mean GPI not G чате, да? Так. G.
7, 8 slide.
Yes. One of them of slides No. Я потерялась.
Could I ask a question? I'm so sorry, dear colleagues. Good afternoon. Maybe could I ask a question according to this slide? And my question will help you, dear Svetlana, to find. First of all, I would like to ask about forecast until 2025. Could you explain the principle of forecasting? And I understand that you realized your scientific research before the war. What do you think should be this forecast real today, or you should take into account the war, the influence of this negative factor? What do you think about this? About the GDP and other indexes, what do you think about?
Thank you. Unfortunately, now this not forecasting is not corrected because situation in Ukraine one year and other.
Thank you. So we should take into account the influence of the different factors and negative factors, as I understand. Thank you so much. Your report was very interesting for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, dear colleagues, thank you very much, and we will continue. The next topic, the next report, is creative education and technologies to build a professional and technical foundation of sustainable development. And please, Mrs. Slastanikova.
Good afternoon, dear participants of the conference. Technical disciplines are the core disciplines in professional training of future professionals. They are intended to develop knowledge and skills in the technological modes of the existing technological objects. To achieve high productivity and increase product quality, choosing the most efficient technological schemes and types of objects in designing new industries, as well as in development of facilities and technologies capable of producing competitive products on the world market. The authors analysis of the existing theories of the training content shows that the content of creative teaching methods for future specialists in technical disciplines should be a means of developing the ability of future specialists to acquire new knowledges based on a large number of facts. Take into account the provision on the operation transition to other activities. Implement a personal approach. Be a training outcome. Based on the fact that the future professional activity of a specialist consists of constant problem solving in the operation of the existing technical objects, as well as designing, improving, and forecasting new ones. It is expedient to apply the principle of problem-based learning in the methodology of creative teaching of technical disciplines. And our conclusions are the next. First, it is the low quality of training of future professionals by the traditional training methods is conditioned by insufficient influence of the traditional content, methods, tools, forms, and technologies of training on the development of professional knowledges, skills, creativity, and professional important qualities of future specialists. Secondary, it is acquisition by future specialists of the professional and technical foundation is possible only through their own intellectual activity. The methodological system of creative teaching of technical disciplines must be built based on modeling the development of the technical field. Third, to develop a future specialist capable of solving a problem situation in the operation of the existing object, as well as designing improvement and forecasting new ones. It is necessary to the principle of problem-based learning should be applied in the methodology of creative teaching. Fourth, the training content should be filled only thought resolving problem situations and should contain the basic part. The externally provided education material from the teacher that is acquired by future specialist, and the creative part mastered by each future specialist using teaching methods and tools of learning cognitivity activity management. Fifth, the teaching methods should not rely on the reproductive transfer of knowledges, but rather on the search for and creation of knowledges by the future specialists themselves. Management of the education and cognitive activity of the future specialist with creative teaching methods used in the education process is possible with the help of deductive means of step-by-step operation management in solving technical problems. 6. The criteria and indicators have been substantiated and defined for the effectiveness evolution of the methods of training future professionals, which incorporate the level of development of the professional knowledge, skills, creativity, and influence on cultivation of professionally important qualities. Seventh, the efficiency and effectiveness of the proposed methodology for creative training of future specialists will significantly increase the innovation component of the educational technologies as a professional and technical foundation for sustainable development. 8. It is creativity education technologies that are able to form the future specialist of the process of building a professional and technical foundation for sustainable development who will be capable of successfully developing domestic production. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you very much. If there are any questions, I remind you can write it in a chart and we will read it. Okay. And I want to remind the participants of my session that we have time limit. It's 5, 7, 10 minutes, maximum 10 minutes. Okay. There are no questions and we'll continue. The next topic, next report, it's financial and economic mechanism in the regulation of sustainable development of economical entities in the circular economy, institutional dominance. And I will make report. Okay. Modern conditions of the institutional and structural transformation in the economy of Ukraine determined the necessity to improvement of financial and economic aspects of regulation of the system vector development of economic entities in the energy sector in the condition of the circular economy. Since the regulations of system vector development of economic entities in the energy sector is a condition of the circular economy plays a significant role in development of competitiveness of our country. However, in today's conditions, there are a significant number of problems and factors are making possible to operate the system economical development, implement strategic and relevant mission, and achieve its systematic and adaptive goals. Significant depreciation of fixed assets, partial loading of general production capacities, increased dependence of external borrowing capital, low level of motivation management functions, updated management methods, and the main factors slowing the system vector development of the economic entities of the energy sector, gradually reducing the level of financial and economic security. The energy sector is a relevant sector in the area of climate changes, not only in our country but also in other countries of the world. This is accounted about 60% for the total national greenhouse gas emissions. Reducing the intensity of carbon emissions in the energy sector of Ukraine is the dominant task in achieving energy goals in the system and regulation of the system vector development of the economic entities in the energy sector, because the available of affordable energy has always been a strategic goal and meet human needs, increase life expenses, and improve the living conditions. But there is another negative side of energy, which has an adverse effect of human and environment. In 2020, Ukraine ranks 60 out of 180 countries in terms of environmental pollution ranking. Thus, when investigation the cognitive aspects of regulation of system vector development of economical entities in the energy sector is conditionals of the circular economy. It's necessary to pay attention to creation of conditions for realization of potential financial and economical results of activity. Now, from a point of view of creation and relevant conditions of development, it's proposed to concentrate on creation the resources base, which covers formation of intellectual resources and managerial competences. The formation of informational and analytical resources, formation of material resources, formation of intercoordinational of relations between organizational structure lines, and creation of normative legal base of regulation of financial and economic activities in the direction of progressive development of economic subjects. The general approach to determining the impact of the financial and economic parameters of the level of the system vector development of economic entities of the energy sector in the conditions of the circular economy is based on the use of financial and economical identifications of the level of the system vector development of economical entities in the energy sector. Take into account the diversity of the target parameters of financial and economical activity and other convergence institutional dominance. This allows to determine the growth factor of importance of statistical indicators of financial conditions, which reflected parametric data of range or change of factor indicators of length and level of financial economic support of the system vector development, which is object based on the building the mechanism of regulation of the system vector development of economical entities, uh, economical entities, economical and of the energy sector and the conditions of the circular economy. Take into account the institutional indicators and parameters data is a range of changes in financial and economic factors of influence. Partial indicators of efficiently is instrumental production processes consist of monitoring based of system vector development production stage financial and economical cycle. It can the sum of gross multipliers at partial should be 1, and the absolute value of each of them should be reflected as the value of individuals indexed in the aggregate score among the seven proposed indicators. The high period in assessing the effectiveness of the vector system and the important business management function have net sales profitability, a change of profitability under the influence of the turnover and profitability of management and production processes in connection with which weight multipliers and their variable should be the equal of 0.2 or 0.1. In order to create an effective model of financial and economic regulation of system vector development of economical entities of the energy sector, its conditions to circular economy is necessary to define reserves, which contain a system of measures and method of determine the potential capacity to develop in accordance with the real opportunities of economic entities of the energy sector in conditions of uncertainty that allow to make well-grounded and well-balanced management discussion. This is the creation of the maintenance of the necessary level of development for effective function of economic entities. Yes, since the creation of and maintenance of the maintenance of the necessary level of development for effective function of economical entities in the energy sector provides for realization of all functional mechanisms of financial and economic potential formation on the way to making effective management decisions. Based on the fact that climate is based on individual perception, which can change with changes in the situation and the emergency of new information. It's possible to conclude that the management climate of economical entities of the energy sector is a dynamic indicator which serves an effective source of business activity improvement and the source of management capacity improved. In accordance with the peculiarities of the potential and result the regulation of the system vector development during the relevant review at management decisions are formed as a final stage aimed at increase and level of regulation of financial and economical aspects of management by reforming general strategies and tactics. For example, for economical entities in the energy sector, which low level of regulation of system vector development is a financial and economical aspects. The optimal level of regulated development, which should be oriented to forming strategic goals and setting all the planned indicators of activity, is the average level of the potential financial and economic activity. For an enterprise, which average level, it is the average progressive level of the potential. Only economic entities whose financial and economic potential exceed average progressive level and closest the maximum level of regulation system vector development can be oriented to the maximum level of potential of system vector development. Thank you very much for your attention. That's all. If there are any questions, okay, and we will.
Could I ask a question? Anastasia, thank you very much for your report. First of all, could you hear me? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. I have a question. The new economy need the extra activity or additional activity in energy sector. What do you think? What should be the first the process of formation of new economic relationship according to the circular economy or cyclical economy in energy system? Or energy system cannot change because it's not a new economy, but it's the circular cycle economy need the renovation, new principles, realization, new concepts. What do you think? What should be the first or what should be changed in traditional energy sector?
Should be changed traditional energy sector. I think we must the first one. I think it's You see, we have the dominant forms in influencing the energy sector and on the environment in our country, another one. And I think it must be the priority for the new energy sector because we must think about our future and I think the new stage for energy sector, not only for Ukraine and for another country, um, it must be renewable resources.
Thank you very much for your explanation and for your answer.
Yeah, thank you too. Okay, there are no questions, and we will continue. Okay, the next report. It's global trends in the behavior of consumers of retail enterprises in the digital economy. And Panchuk.
Hello, dear colleagues. I'd like to present today our brief review of our article about the global trends, which you already can hear in the behavior of consumers in retail enterprises. First of all, I want to say that this article was prepared even before all this dramatical situation that we have now in Ukraine, and it was more about how pandemic of coronavirus had changed the behavior of the customers, have changed their opinion about the goods they are buying, and of course it was not going back points in these terms. The problems that most retailers faced during pandemic and after the pandemic was finally necessity of transforming their activities from the offline to online, and of course using all those digital tools that were necessary even when we came into industry 4.0. So let's see through the main figures that should represent our researchers. So it was the researchers of opinions not only in Ukraine, but it was gathering the information from the global. And actually, we can say that plus minus average data are presented on those figures that you will see today in our presentation. So first of all, we can say that significant change was in preferring of exported goods or imported goods, as we can see here, that almost 45% of all consumers started prefer the local brands, and the level of trust to the local brands increased dramatically during the pandemic. First of all, as we can see that people started to buying about a stock, and we can say now that this trend also should be taken in account today, because war and world crisis and forecasting crisis in production and groceries, that this all factors say us that this trend will be also felt by consumers and by retailers, that people now tend to buy something in advance. The next trends, it's about things that people started to buy, and the actually types of products that they tend to buy more. Of course, groceries, household goods, and medicines that are top three category of goods that people just could not to buy. And of course, even in crisis, we can saw the dramatical rising of buying these categories. And vice versa, as you can see, for example, clothes, furniture, electronics, they have negative trends. They are not so tend to buy by consumers in average in all of the world. Also, as you can see here, there were dramatically changes about distribution, how goods are delivered, how they are actually bought by the consumers. So first of all, we can see that online there is the gray color. It's on to, the goods that customers bought with delivery online. As we can see, electronics, clothes, and footwear, furniture are raised in the online segment. But the grocery also ranked, but still about 80% of groceries are still bought by consumers in offline regime. Also, there is important diagram about how consumers' feeling of security or insecurity change. So we can see that people already under pandemic conditions, they already felt very insecure when they were in the public places. Even attending of the grocery stores was also under this insecure feeling. As you can see, people also very felt very worried about the health and lives of their relatives and close peoples, about how they can pay their bills and to not lose the job. It was also a very big scare and very big factor of insecure of the people. Of course, it has a great impact of the whole economy, because therefore people can make savings or put these savings maybe abroad, as we can see now, and spend these savings abroad, not in our native country. Of course, initially the aim of this article was to demonstrate how the consumer behavior change under the digital technologies, and how with help of digital technologies retailers can be ahead and can adapt their business to this behavior. But with this dramatically situation and war in our country, we can look at these factors from another point of view, but still main trends are started to raise and started to demonstrate in 2020, and still we should pay attention on this trend and also think how to adopt business, especially in field of retail and digital, due to this trend. As you can see here, it was the survey about and assessment on the basis of the survey about factors that about confidence or unconfidence of consumers to do normal shopping, not only in retail, but as you can see here, staying at hotel, flying by plane, etc. So another demonstration of economical crisis and decreasing of economical stability that demonstrates through the consumer behavior. As you can see that almost 50% of all goods that were bought by Ukrainian consumers were on the segment of groceries. And it could be push us to the conclusion that actually it is the first very strong signal of the poorness of society and very high uncertainty in consumers' behavior, because when people start to buy more groceries and more and the second huge part of their budget will go to pay their communal services and households expenditures. So as this could demonstrate us that it's not like a developing economy, but it was already very hard situation in the structure of Ukrainian consumptions. So anyway, we can admit that despite of hard economical situation and despite of dramatically changing in consumers' behavior, still we can see that a lot of retailers received very hard very hard stimul or motive to improve their digital activity. And now when we can compare a lot of people who migrated from Ukraine to European country, and now we can compare the level of digital development in retail. By the way, so we can say that obviously any crisis can give the pushing can push the economy to the next level or to the next rising. So despite of these negative trends, we still have optimistic points of view that with help of investing from European country, from USA, we already can see what kind of sectors of economy and what kind of, again, digital development could be rise, and that Ukrainian economy still, despite of this crisis, have very great potential to rise. So thank you very much. I'm finished. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I would like to answer.
Could I ask a question?
Yes, Natalia, glad to see you.
Anastasia, thank you so much for a very interesting, very actual report. I have only a question. Could you compare the level of digitalization in Ukrainian society and in other countries, please?
Actually, yes, we also in my other articles already investigate this topic, and what I can say is that despite of digital development of Ukraine, it is in several ways. For example, in government sector, it is already almost 50% of people already use governmental digital platforms as DIA, and you all know these platforms. So actually, it was dramatical changing and dramatical rising. And despite of that, people in when we compared opinion of average European citizen and Ukrainian citizen, so we can see that among the Europeans there are a lot of technological optimists, like we call them. So there are people who believe that digital will change their life to the best. But Among the Ukrainians, as among other ex-USSR countries, there are a lot of digital pessimists. So people believe that digital will bring them more problems than development. So there is only one already made investigation that I can tell the results, but definitely it will be the topic of my future work, and we can see the horizons where we can more develop these topics and to learn more about it.
Thank you very much. It was really very interesting, and your explanation, pessimism, optimism, for me it was very interesting and value. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, and is there any questions? No? Okay, let's continue. And the next topic of the next report is holistic evaluation system of RD products in the circular economy. Please, Alexandra.
Brechina.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me? Greeting to participants. We want to introduce you our work on the problematic of the holistic economic system of economic evaluation of R&D products in a circular economy. Significant growth and uneven distribution of production and consumption by the population against the background of resource and energy conservation has highlighted the need for countries to review the principles of economic development, particularly determining the transition from linear to circular economy. Many modern manufacturers of innovative products face the task of reducing energy and resource consumption and the stage of their development, as well as a result of environmentally friendly R&D products. However, furthermore, such entities are provided with sufficient methodological materials to consider the unjustified loss of resources or alternative production options at an innovative products market planning and modeling stage. The solution of this problem led to the goal of this work. This work aimed to develop a holistic economic evaluation system of R&D products in a circular economy. The 5th slide. To do this, we have identified the following hypotheses. The first hypothesis: a holistic evaluation system is universal for all types of R&D products based on the principles of the circular economy model. The second hypothesis: a holistic evaluation system is suitable for all market conditions and can be applied for different forecasting periods. The hypotheses were developed on the example of an R&D product, a three-wheeled electric scooter for people with disabilities, developed by specialists of Lviv Polytechnic National University. The described product is determined by the structural elements taken into account based on the principles of the circular economy. Task to substantiate the provisions of the topic on the example of this product are listed on 6th slide. Countries such as France, Spain, Germany, and the United States, the next slide, have seen a significant increase in the use of electric scooters in various segments of the population of recent years. This trend is expected to continue over the next decade. The dynamics of profits from the electric scooter business 2070-2076 are shown on the 7th slide. To form the price of a free-field electric scooter for people with disabilities, a list of direct costs was uncovered by the developers and formed the basis of this device. The price structure, P costs, created by the cost plus method. This method is the most suitable from the group of cost approach methods. and create for free wheeled electric scooters for people with disabilities is given on slide 8. SUS for 120,000 Ukrainian hryvnias, in which the value of direct cost is 64,000 Ukrainian hryvnias. The break-even sales level will be 11 units. To evaluate the Avtos electric scooter, several features have been identified that determine it among competitors on the 8th slide. Yes. All the selected features contain elements dictated by the implementation of the circular economy model. To evaluate the R&D product according to the competitive methodological approach, the matrix method was chosen. And based on the results of calculation, it is advisable to set the price for the analyzed electric scooter at 123,000 Ukrainian hryvnias on the Ukrainian market. The next slide, please. The profitable methodological approach determines the choice of the product's commercialization option, based on which the modeling of market and price parameters will take place. Therefore, in the case of the Avtos R&D product, it is proposed to consider a kick sharing scenario. The collected data made it possible to draw up of a plan of volumes and periods of revenues from the sale of the Avtos products. The leading result indicators are given in the 11th slide. According to the income methodological approach, the price is 120,000 Ukrainian hryvnias. The calculated indicators based on using the income evaluation component under predetermined investment conditions indicate the feasibility of implementing a kick share project. In the case of the three-wheel electric scooter for people with disabilities, the revenue component showed that the effectiveness of the kick sharing project should be considered over a significantly more extended period. In contrast to the exciting methodological developments in the pricing for R&D products, the proposed holistic system allows for the aggregate of current evaluation approaches based on justification and selection from many possible, suitable for the product, maybe market, business, etc. Optimal product price. And the last slide, I want to share our hypothesis. The first hypothesis is entirely true because the developed holistic evaluation system is universal for all types of R&D products, as it provides the principles of evaluation and the tools can be adjusted and refined within the described principles. The holistic evaluation system is designed taking into account the principles of the circular economy model, which in particular is determined during the evaluation of competitor counterparts, etc. However, in each case, using this system, it is essential to choose methods within the methodological approach that best meet the specifics of the evaluated R&D products. And some words about the second hypothesis. It is not entirely true. A holistic evaluation system is suitable for virtually and market condition, as it cannot be applied to different forecasting periods, and the system provides the most significant effect in terms of short-term planning, as it considers many factors influencing the price. Even a slight change in such elements can cause a considerable shift in the price. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, if there are any questions? Sorry, Alexandra. Volodymyr has a questions. Have a question. Do you have questions about how many customers repaired products in the past and or have no experience trying, leasing, or buying second-hand products? You can open the chat and see the question.
I don't see the chat.
At the bottom, you see 3 points.
Sorry, can I give a floor to my co-author, Harmati Marsal?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh. So, how many customers repaired the products in the past? Renting, buying the second-hand products. Basically, we have not much information about like the customer that repaired the products. So probably, we mentioned in our like presentation, kind of we're repairing them, but not like all of them. And like an experience about renting and buying second-hand products. You mean like the products that were used before, or which ones? It's like the question to Volodymyr. Like waiting for the response.
Yes, Anastasia.
Yes. Volodymyr, I hear us. Okay.
So kind of like without the response of Volodymyr, I believe like more like customers used to rent some second-hand like products, also like buy them and just repairing to create the new ones. So probably like this flow and this way they are using like these products.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we can continue. And thank you, Alexandra. And the next topic of the next report is motivational management of enterprise innovation development in the context of limited resources. Please, Mrs. Poberezhna.
Yes, good day. Could you please tell me my presentations? Are you see my presentation now? Open. Thank you. In motivation management of enterprise innovation development in the context of limited resources. First of all, I want to say in the modern conditions of economic development, there is a constant complication of enterprise activities due to the deepening of crisis phenomena, increased competition and unstable situation in the economic and political spheres. In such unstable conditions, the enterprise required certain changes, improvements and new ways to solve problems. In order to solve them, enterprise managers are trying to find a necessary and rational innovation management system, which would fully reflect the weaknesses of the enterprise. suggest ways to improve them and maximize the profit of enterprise in the process of applying this system. The concept of motivation management in the context of limited resources involves the reprofiling of business process in order to maximize resource conservation, minimize waste through minimize waste through reuse, modernization, reconstruction, recycling, and other elements. We believe that the main motivation factors influencing the innovation activities of enterprises are relationship between the initiators, organizers of the implementation of innovative activities, managers and employees, the nature and context of works, creative and mutual understanding in the implementation of production activities, interest, personal needs, and the desire of employees to achieve the best results in order to master new production process. At the same time, motivation management in conditions of limited resources required the development of special methods, ways, tools, and promote the activation of labor activity of inventors of innovations. Factors of motivation management of innovative development of the enterprise show on this slide. First of all, in context, real motivation, material and moral interest of enterprise management, implementation, innovation policy will be fundamentals of the three factors: organization, labor, and innovative potential. The theoretical basis for the formation of motivational management of the enterprise in conditions of limited resources is offered by a scientific and methodological approach based on a combination of method for assessing the internal potential of the enterprise, organization, and labor potential with assessment innovation potential under the influence of external environment, taking account in the influence of multiple factors. Please, next slide. For this slide, you see a component of formation motivation management, the enterprise conditions of limited resources. First of all, motivation factors is very important, rational and efficient use of resource and international potential of the enterprise. The approach to an assessment of motivation management of innovative development of the enterprise in the conditions of limited resources is suggest in which the continuous communication of operative, technical, and strategic period of management, which is considered by means of crossing of time frames. Please, next slide. Next slide. This slide, before slide. This slide shows system of formation, motivation management, innovative development of enterprise conditions of limited resource. We see levels of management, operation level, tactical, strategical level, and indicators which improve for this level management and a purpose which enterprise must be decreed. Based on system of indicators, namely the level of competition, availability, business activity, innovation development, market dynamics, we will determine the level of provision of motivation management in the enterprise under conditions of limited resources. The analysis of industrial enterprises successfully carrying out innovative and investment activity shows that the dominant investment for development of innovations is the aspiration of a management to conduct strategically variable activity in general and innovative and dynamic activity in particular. For the next slide, you see groups with high level motivation management. We have three levels. First of all, it's enterprise with this is enterprise Ukrainian enterprise, and with first is low level group with medium and maximum level enterprise. Based on the above material studies, the authors propose to apply a system of measure to ensure high level of motivation. This next slide. Management of innovative development, because it is through the indicators of innovative and innovations can achieve a high level competitive advantages. Authors thinking that when using motivation management of innovation activities in the enterprise is very important. And this slide, you see these enterprises, high, medium, and low, and the figures. You see, for example, innovation is very big coefficient. For the next slide, we propose the necessary activities for enterprise. For example, is create complementary system on incentive for employees, optimize the use of materials, apply organization physiological incentives, and create high conditions for innovators and inventors to discover their creative capabilities in the innovation process. For the conclusions, in the next slide, motivation management is the main stimulator for indicators of innovations. It's necessary to motivate organization, innovative process to that each employer, and using motivation management for activities enterprise. Thank you for attention. Thank you.
Okay, is there any questions? No questions?
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. Okay, and we'll continue. And the topic of the next report is special management of enterprise resources, supply adaptation in circular economy conditions. Alena Kovalchuk, please.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. The effective special management of the adaptation of the resource supply is based on the assessment of the condition of the economic potentials, the definition of the integral indicators of economic potential in circular economy, the methodology of which is presented in slide 2. The methodology for calculation in the integral indicator of economic potential in circular economy involves 3 stages. Stage 1, identification of factors influencing the competence of the economic potentials. Stage 2, calculation by the principal component method. And 3-stage calculation by the method of correlation and regression of analysis. On the first stage, it is necessary to define the main factor of influence on the component in the enterprise economic potential. Circular economy and features of its environment for the activities of enterprise as well as process of adaptation to them allows to identify the following components of the element of the economic potential of the enterprise: restructuring, modernization, market production, component functional, and innovation intellectual. At the second stage, the calculation generalized indicator of the components of the economic potential, which the method of principal component, which allows to apply the first principal component, construct generalized indicator in the form of the lines combination of the factor attributes which weight coefficient characterized and the relationship between the factor attributes and the component in order to determine the maximum informative variable that will affect and generalize indicator of the components of the enterprise economic potential, we will use the method of correlation. On the example of the correlation matrix of the impact factor to the restructuring modernization component of the economic potential, we see that the value to the coefficient x3 and x6 have a value of less than 0.2, and it is the coefficient can be excluded from the further study because of the weak relationship with the result meant indicators. The summary indicators of setting components of the economic potential with components of the integral index as assessment of the economic potential under conditions of structure and organization and adaptive and harmonization transformation of the machine-built enterprises are determined by the formulas presented in slide 6. On the third stage of defined of the economic potential level in the circular economy, the integral index of assessment of economic potential AIP is calculated using the method of correlation and regressive analysis. On the basic, the calculated summarizing indices. According to update results, it is possible to suggest of the special management of the adaptation of the enterprise's economic potential is a condition of circular economy, which are present in slide 8. Approaches to ensure special management of adaptation of the enterprise's economic potential under of the condition of circular economy development in accords with the components of the economic potential of the enterprise, which will maximize their effects according with the specific area. We assume that the special approach involves internal and external influence of space on the adaptation on the enterprise resource supply. Thank you for attention.
Thank you for your presentation. Because of Shalins unfortunately in Kharkiv, I will continue moderating your section. We hope that everything will be okay in Kharkiv. Okay, maybe someone have questions. As we see no one. So thank you for your presentation one more time. Let's keep to next paper. The topic for the next paper is corporate management of sustainable development goals as a driver for solving global environment problems.
Just a second. I try to open my presentation. Oh, can I ask your help?
If I can help you.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, so
it's your presentation, yes?
Yes, we see it.
You will change. Okay, thank you very much.
I don't know whether I can change it in my computer. So
I can do this.
Okay.
Thank you. Dear colleagues, I'd like to represent our team. We introduce two University of Ukraine, Kyiv National University Technology and Design, and Kremenchuk National University of Mikhailo Ostrogradsky, and also Institute of Technology and Business in České Budějovice. The topic of our report, the next slide please, corporate management of sustainable development goals as a driver for solving global environment problems. The aggravation of global environment problems highlights the task of implementing sustainable development goals at all levels of society, international, national, and corporate. This paper aims to study the financial support processes for the implementation of sustainable development goals by automotive corporations from the position identification, challenges, trends, and positive experience. Based on this goal, it's advisable to solve the following main tasks: the systemize existing scientific approaches to the analysis of sustainable development, to explore best practices in the management and financing of CDGs on the example of car companies. The next slide, please. Corporations should become more and more active participants in the implementation of SDGs, because in focus on sustainable economic results, they disturb the balance of the environment and are the major polluters. So, 224 companies represent 72% of annual global industrial emissions. In addition, the issue of sustainable development management are left out of consideration in many more companies. Hence, the study of positive experience of leading corporation is of great scientific and practical importance. Corporate governance has many good practices in accordance with the goal of sustainable development and the formation of sustainable financial support for green process. But this study focuses on generalizing the experience of automotive companies, and it's appropriate for several reasons. The environment is significantly affected not only by production activities of our companies, but also by their products. According to International Energy Agency experts, there will be a doubling of global transport in passenger kilometers and a 60% increase in the number of car owners due to the population growth and income by 2070. Next slide, please. It's necessary to form a structure and logical scheme of causal relationships between key components of sustainability and their impact on financial stability in order to sustainable a positive algorithm for analyzing the sustainability of enterprise development, which would combine the advantages of existing methodological approaches and allow real research, especially with an emphasis on financial aspects. In this study, the authors focus on determining financial stability through the sustainability of production activity. A comprehensive understanding of the concept of sustainable development allows outlining the main direction of sustainable development analysis and considering the financial aspect by highlighting additional important points. The emphasis on financial stability determines the need to specify its components, informing analytical information and the definition in significant trends. Next slide, please. As we consider the goals of sustainable development and the quantitative indicators that characterize them in comparison with financial stability, the set of indicators should be expanded by indicators that characterize the stability of financial resources, investment stability, financial stability, and stability of financial resources. These indicators are formed because on existing methods of analysis and financial stabilities. This analysis of indicators can determine the initial situation at the enterprises, strengths in the comparison with competitors, and sustainable the direction of the achievement of the set indicators that can be taken as a basis. Sustainable development goals are quite multifaceted, combining both quantitative and qualitative development targets in economic, environment, and social components. The structure and the logical scheme of the study of sustainable indicators of the enterprises with indicators that comprehensively characterizing the financial stability is presented in this slide. The analysis as a certain point in time allows to compare sustainable development indicators of enterprise with other competitors and identify challenges by the components of sustainability that exist. The analysis in dynamics allows to establish the efficiency of the process of transformations caused by the implementation of sustainable development purpose and their reflection in other economic and financial indicators. Also, in the process of analyzing the sustainability of enterprise development and the balance of stability and individual species, it's advisable to use correlation regression analysis. In this study, we use Pearson correlation and Spearman correlation coefficient. Next slide, please. The first indicator of the sustainability of companies is the dynamics of production volume. The presented data indicate generally unstable dynamics of production in all served enterprises. They analyze the financial stability in the dynamics. We use several indicators that characterize the stability of financial resources, the stability of investment, the stability of financial conditions, and the stability of financial results. The amount of working capital for each company should have its optional value and allows the core business to operate smoothly in unstable. In Volkswagen Group, General Motors, Tesla, however, current ratio went beyond the allowed value only in some years. The next slide, please. The next important step in the analyzing on financial support of the implementation of sustainable development goals is to study the level of sustainability of enterprises in terms of individual types in comparison with indicators of financial stability using the OLS regression method. The results of this analysis are presented in this slide. In general, the average level of correlation between financial and economic sustainability should be noted. The links between financial and social sustainability are slightly below the average, and the links between financial and environment sustainability are insignificant. This state of affairs indicates the importance of sustainable development goals, the progress in achieving which cars company provide regardless of the stable of financial resources and results. The next slide, please. The smaller the value of generalized indices of stability, the less variability the studied indicators show. The presented results of comparing the stability of integrated indices of sustainable development in comparison with the generalized indexes of financial stability conducted on the example of automotive companies reflect the following main trends. Firstly, all separate companies shows progresses in environment and social sustainability. Secondly, the studied automotive companies differs in the level of stability of development taking into account the components and financial stabilities. Thirdly, the calculation of the correlation between indicators of sustainable development and financial stability showed a low level of dependence. This means that enterprise implementing SDGs against the background of different levels of variability on financial stability. The next slide, please. Based on the summarizing of the existing methodological approaches to sustainable analysis, the authors propose to consider sustainability as the ability of the system to achieve goals, as a balance of international resources, as stability of interaction with the external environment, and as an adaptation of the business model. The analysis of sustainability of development allowed us to identify the following main trends, which you can see on this slide. Thank you for your attention, good colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Also, we are ready to listen to some questions if someone has them. Okay, then, dear colleagues, let's continue with the next paper. The next paper is the paradigm of emergent qualities of education management as a scientific and technological platform for sustainable development.
Please tell me if you see my presentation.
Yes, we see it, but unfortunately it's a blank paper just without. Now it's okay. Now it's correct.
Okay, good afternoon. Research topic, the paradigm of emerging qualities of education management as a scientific and technological platform for sustainable development. Currently, higher education in Ukraine is publicly available and the level of higher education coverage of the population of the traditional official age of study reaches 83%, which allowed Ukraine to take the 14th place in the Global Innovation Index 2020, while according to this component of the Global Innovation Index, Great Britain ranks 34th and the indicator is 60%. Germany is on the 28th place, 70.2%. Poland has the value of this component and the level of 67.8% and occupies the 31st place. Most researchers believe that a significant advantage of Ukraine is equal access to education for both women and men. The share of working women with higher education and scientific degrees in the total number of employees in Ukraine is one of the largest in the world, 30.4%, the third place. In other countries selected for comparison, this indicator is much lower. So in the UK,
I'm very sorry to interrupt you, but your presentation, your slides doesn't change. We see only the first one.
Yeah, my slides will changes after words.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So in the UK, 23.4% of working women have high education and scientific degree, and it ranks 16th. Poland ranks 25th. Since 21.1% of working women have higher education and a scientific degree, 21.1%, 25th. Germany 13th percent. Figures 1 and 2 show a rating graph for countries where the first place corresponds to the highest value of this indicator and the last to the lowest one. Analysis of the data in figure 1 shows that 47 countries have a high level of education among the countries studied, out of which 15 countries, namely Germany, Norway, Great Britain, Finland, Iceland, New Zealand, Australia, Ireland, Denmark, Sweden, the Netherlands, Slovenia, Belgium, Switzerland, the United States of America have an index of 0.9 or higher. It is generally accepted that developed countries should have a minimum indicator of 0.8. Countries with an education index of 0.8 to 0.9 include Lithuania, Canada, the Czech Republic, and other countries. It should be noted that Ukraine closes this list with an indicator of 0.8. Analysis of the indicators in figure 2. I'm sorry. Analysis of the indicators of figure 2 showed that Italy, which is a highly developed country and is among the 10 most developed countries in the world, has an education index of 0.79 and Cuba of 0.79. The lowest indicators are in such countries as Mali, 0.2, Eritrea 0.26, and Niger 0.249. The authors investigated an up-to-date, periodically update in accordance with the latest research result, list of countries of the world and administrative territories without state status, ordered by the Human Development Index. Current data is presented as of 2019 and published in December 2020. Figures from 3 to 6 show the ranking of countries classified into 4 categories according to the accepted gradation shown above. An analysis of the Human Development Index of countries that have a very high level showed that no country has this indicator at the level of the maximum value of Norway. Iran, Switzerland had the highest level. According to this gradation, such countries as Luxembourg, Spain, and France have the lowest level among countries that have a very high level of the Human Development Index. Analysis of the Human Development Index of countries with a high level show that the Czech Republic, Estonia, and the United Arab Emirates have the highest level. According to this gradation, such countries as Georgia, Malaysia, and Serbia have the lowest level among countries with a high level of the Human Development Index. The studies have shown that most of the countries studied have an average level of Human Development Index, namely Cuba, Albania, Iran, Sri Lanka, and other. It should be noted that the part of the data provided by national statistical organizations is not a way reliable, as some governments knowingly embellish the situation in their countries, and the statistics shown in figure 4 are somewhat questionable. Recently, the importance of education and the level of its management have significantly increased, which is advisable to understand the system of making managerial decisions that will ensure the high quality functioning of an educational institution in modern environmental conditions. At the same time, it is important that management allows the educational institution to adopt or counteract certain factors that affect the development of education and its competitiveness. It is clear that education institutions are fundamentally different from enterprises. However, in our opinion, that can significantly increase the efficiency of their activities if they adopt management tools. The level of development of educational institution is influenced by a large number of factors, the effect of which is sometimes difficult and even impossible to forecast and predict. Figure 7 uh, shows a cognitive map overview of systemized factors influencing the development of educational institutions on those that contribute to the development of educational institutions and those that slow it down. In order to study the processes and factors of influence of emerging qualities of education management on sustainable development, it is advisable to apply methodological developments of scientists and economists on the construction of trend models for predicting the main development processes. According to the State Statistics Service of Ukraine, the Ministry of Finance of Ukraine, a certain number of indicators that have an impact on sustainable development were selected for the study. From the presented array of statistical data, indicators of the most significant impact of emerging qualities of education management on sustainable development are selected for further research. Table 1. For certain factors of influence of emergent qualities of education management on sustainable development, trend lines are constructed using various types of approximating depends: linear, logarithmic, polynomial of the second, third, and fourth degree power. The forecast values were calculated using the Microsoft Excel package. The selection of trend models was carried out taking into account the value of the coefficient of determination. For further studies, the following factors of influence and their predictive values were selected, which had high values of the coefficient of determination in the range of 0.8 to 0.9. After obtaining the regression equation and determining its parameters, correlation analysis is performed, which makes it possible to assess the tightness and significance of the relationship between the dependent variable y and the independent variable x, using the coefficient of determination and the correlation coefficient. The result of calculation using standard Microsoft Excel software are shown in table 3. Econometric modeling of the influence of factors on the development of educational management is carried out, and correlation and regression models are constructed, namely model of the level of human capital development, model of development on the national labor market, model of social labor productivity growth, model of the state influence on human capital development, model of the influence of human capital development factors on the country's GDP growth. The data in table 3 show that economic and mathematical models take into account a significant number of factors of both direct and indirect influence on the development of education management. The factors that most significantly influenced its development were selected. The constructed multivariate regression models show that the relationship between the factors exists and is quite stable. The multiple determination coefficients show how much the resulting indicator depends on factor features. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation. Maybe some of you has the questions to the presenter. Okay, we have one more paper left. The topic of the paper is adaptation of educational and environmental strategies of society in the conditions of cyclic economy development.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues, dear friends, good afternoon. And I would like, first of all, I'm very thankful for the invitation to take part in this conference. The topic of this conference is very actual, and all papers are very, very interesting and very deep according to the theoretical and practical means. And I would like I would like to attract your attention to our paper with the title of Adaptation of Education and Environmental Strategies of Society in the Condition of Cyclic Economic Development. But first of all, I would like to try to demonstrate my presentation in Canva. I'm not sure that I will realize, but I will try. Could you see my presentation?
Yes.
Yes. It's okay?
Yes, everything's okay.
Thank you. So, First of all, some words about this topic. The transition of society of this technological system is accompanied by the spread of the global economic crisis, acceleration of the global environmental, social, and political problems of mankind. According to the research Department of Economics and Social Affairs, in 2021, so the population growth rate increased significantly, reaching 1.23%. The population amounted to 7.851 trillion persons, which is more than projected by 53.8 million people. The growth of the Earth's population depends upon the problem of limited non-renewable natural resources. In addition, strong marketing activity, behavioral economy, market principles of interaction of economic entities had led to separation of business interests from public rapid growth of production and consumption, as well as increased economic inequality. Existing economic models and concepts, I asked this question to the previous speaker. We can operate the existing economic models and concepts of development, but these concepts and models are not able to solve these problems, which are beginning to get out of control. The world community seeks to prevent collapse. The European Commission had approved a new circular economy action plan, which includes measures aimed at make organic products and the norm in the European Union, empower consumer and government buyers, focus on the sectors that use the most resources and where the potential of the cycle is high, such as electronic, batteries and vehicles, packaging, plastic, textile, construction and building, food, water, and so on and so forth. Provide less waste. So in recent year, many studies have been conducted to the development of circular economy, and in this slide you can see the different definition or explanation. The analysis of scientists' works allowed to reveal approach to define the essence of cyclical economy as the first model of economic development, the basis of which is rational use of resources and their recovery. The second, an alternative to the traditional linear economy based on three principles of 3R: reduction of consumption, reuse, and recycling. The next, industrial system that is restored or regenerated by design and construction. And the fourth, economic model in which both the results and the actual process of resource supply and production are planned and organized in such way as to maximize human well-being and efficiency of ecosystem. The review of the research includes us to formulate new hypotheses and enlarge the research sphere. What about hypotheses? Our hypotheses are the first Ukrainian society is at a stage of forming a system of values which can lay the foundation of the transition to a model of a circular economy. And the second, education as a social institution has a significant impact on the implementation of the concept of sustainable development and cyclical economy, as ensures the formation of environmental and economic consciousness, values, culture of society, and higher and postgraduate education or training. An empirical study was conducted to identify the awareness and readiness of representatives of the educational environment to carry out the process of cyclical economy. To study the readiness of Ukrainian society to implement the circular economy, a sociology study was conducted. The organization and conduct of the study includes three stages. The first, collection of primary sociological information. The second, the stage of information processing. The third, analysis of received information, generalization of conclusion, preparation of recommendation. The social survey was conducted in January 2021. It was attended by 74 respondents who are representative of the educational environment, the representative of high schools or universities, teachers and scientists. The study was conducted using an online survey using the Google form tools. Objectives to study the readiness of society to implement the model of circular economy in condition of global crisis. The questionnaire contained different questions on the values and understanding of the essence of the cyclical economy, determine the place of economic and environmental problem in crisis condition, readiness to participate in the process of sustainable development. I would like to make the accent that the results of this sociologist survey show that representative of the educational environment, for example, in our Kharkiv region before the war, are not sufficiently aware of the nature of circular economy. 38 and 9% of respondents said that they know nothing about it, so near 40%. 30% heard something about it, however, they don't have a clear idea. 30% believe that they understand what we are talking about. This indicates the importance of transition to a new ecological model of the economy is not yet fully formed. On this slide, you can see this percent and other. Online surveys show that the majority of respondents see the purpose of their work as income, creating comfortable living environment. According to 47 and 2% of respondents, it is necessary to deduct part of the profits of socially important matter, and 45 and 10% it is also necessary to deal with presentation of the environment. This indicates.
Natalia, I'm very sorry to interrupt you, but actually we are out of time because in 10 minutes we have the next session.
Okay. I would like to attract your attention, first of all, to this slide, because on this slide I would like to demonstrate the results according to assess the importance of the value of the educational environment. I made the that this result we got before the war. So first of all, it was family welfare, and the next safe environment. On this slide, you can find the result, the assessment of your readiness to sort garbage, for example. It's extract of our social survey, and you can see the different result too. And at the conclusion, the survey of representative of educational environment of non-economic specialties revealed insufficient awareness of the essence of circular economy. Only 30% believe that they understand that we are talking about big formation of value of environmental protection in region, 36%, and insufficient understanding of importance of dealing with environmental protection by business entity. Among the most significant problems are economic and political, but at the same time, among the last significant, the ecological condition of the territories, educational and migration problem were revealed, and insufficient readiness to participate in the process of recovery of the production products is only 12% of respondents are already sorting. So we can make the conclusion that situation according to the according to the adaptation of educational and environmental strategy in society, need some activity. It's a different level of society, the state level, the regional level, and the level of organization or level of university, because we presented the results that we got after the realization our sociological observation amount of scientists and students in Ukrainian universities. The last slide. Thank you for attention, and I would like to. Okay, first of all, about first of all, your question. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry for my very speed, maybe non-logical conclusions, but I got a lot of information. It's a pity that the lack of time. So, first of all, your questions.
Okay, does anyone has questions to Pani Natalia?
I would like, in conclusion, I would like to make the accent that in our article we propose some activities, and we propose the new vision of models and new elements of strategies, educational strategies, and with the help of our proposals can be improve the level of literacy in the cyclical economy or circular model of economy amount of students in Ukrainian universities.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. It's very interesting. Unfortunately, we cannot listen it till the end.
Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Okay, it was the last paper, so thanks. Maybe Victoria Volodymyrina wants to say something. But switch on your...
Дякую. Шановні колеги, дозвольте подякувати вам за такі змістовні та цікаві доповіді, за такий змістовний та цікавий матеріал, який ви представили, за цю дискусію, яку ви забезпечили. Я всім бажаю миру, я всім бажаю натхнення творчого. Все буде Україна. Дякую.
I will translate a little bit. I want Victoria Volodymyrina wants to say thank you to every one of you, to all your for all your researches and for all your thorough researches, and we hope that we will live in peace and everything will be Ukraine. Thank you for your attention. So in 5 minutes the next session starts.
Okay.